Before this rock we're all floating on in the middle of space knew the feeling of feet on its surface. Before Paul was blinded on the road to Damascus. Before divided tongues of fire lit up a room and the eyes of everyone watching. Before David plucked a harp or reached his hand into the cool water of the brook to select 5 smooth stones. Before animals had names or the first pair of lungs drew breath. The earth knew only one thing: darkness. Which isn't even a thing. It's a state of being. It is made of nothing. It has no scientific definition other than the absence of visibility. It's a void. Something you can feel but not touch. Something you can sense but not see. In the beginning, darkness was over the face of the deep. A blank canvas onto which God could paint whatever he wanted. He could have made anything, created anything, spoke anything into being. And he chose to begin with light, which got things off to a good start. He even said so himself. The world was a primeval, disordered chaos, so he fixed the place up and organized it into dry land, sea, sky, gave it some shape. He added vegetation, which turned the surface into a kaleidoscope of color. He added more than 9 million species of animals to populate and add dramatic movement to this growing masterpiece. Each one more fabulous and spectacular to look at than the next. And he called them all good. But it still wasn't enough. God wanted to make something that looked like him. Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. And so up we came, from the dust of the earth, formed out of clay or a rib, each of us containing 45 miles of nerves that enable us to experience the sensation of touch, a mind to think, a tongue to taste all the goodness that had just been made, ears to hear, and most of all, eyes to see. Mineralogists who study the world's rarest gems have never been able to identify anything more astoundingly mysterious or indescribably beautiful than the human eye. If you peer deep into irises, they seem to contain whole galaxies, nebulae, and interstellar clouds, expanding and contracting with the dilation of the pupils. They can also get us into trouble, which they did. The forbidden fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was not only said to be good for food, but also pleasing to the eye. It was attractive, and so we took it. And then everything blew up, which is what tends to happen when we take something attractive we were told not to take. And soon we found ourselves naked and alone, separated from God, and locked out of paradise, the first of many exiles to come. What would happen next? What would we find in that howling wilderness east of Eden? For being called the tree of knowledge, it certainly didn't live up to its name. We gained no new knowledge except the fact that we were lost. In the aftermath, when God cursed the deceiver, he alluded to an offspring born of a woman who would crush the serpent and set things to right. But when? How soon? Who would this saving person born of woman be? And how would he redeem the broken world? We would have to wait and see.